Up another controversy as the world struggles to meet climate goals. We're supposed to limit global warming to a maximum of 1.5 degrees and reach net zero emissions. But with COP29 underway in Baku, are world leaders facing the threat of total failure in a frighteningly warmer world? I'm Andrea Sankey, and today's newsmaker is climate change. More than 100 world leaders have gathered in Azerbaijan looking to resolve our planet's unfolding climate crisis. But every year of COP summits tragically underscores the fact that greenhouse gas emissions, believed to be the cause of global warming, have continued to rise. A transition to clean energy has been slow in coming, so this year in Baku, the stress is on financing the most at-risk, poorer countries to make that transition. But will any drafted framework be enforceable, especially if a climate skeptic runs the world's biggest polluter? Here's a look now at some of the science.
The science is simple and clear, and has been for almost 100 years. Higher levels of carbon dioxide and methane in our atmosphere mean higher temperatures on Earth. It's not speculation, it is basic cause and effect. The theory dates back to 1896, when Swedish chemist Svante Arrhenius first identified the connection. It was later substantiated by Guy Callendar in 1938. And since then, the data has only grown clearer.
When do we want it? Now! Climate first!
Yet millions continue to deny it, even high-profile figures.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay?
The oil industry knew about climate change long before most of the world. Exxon, more widely known as Esso, for example, conducted cutting-edge climate research as far back as 1977. Their models, eerily accurate to this day, predicted the warming.
Exxon knew!
Yet for 2 decades, the company allegedly spent millions undermining the very science they helped uncover. Now, Exxon faces 86 lawsuits, which could cost it billions if it loses. Earth's climate has always changed. Ice ages came and went, and temperatures have fluctuated. But these shifts took thousands, even tens of thousands of years. Now, we are witnessing a rapid transformation in just 200 years, driven by human activity. This rapid warming is creating a world we may struggle to recognize. The latest report from the IPCC warns of a temperature rise of at least 3 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. And this is no longer just a matter of numbers. It's about rising seas, more extreme weather events, and ecological collapse, scenarios previously reserved for dystopian fiction. Yes, we've made strides in renewable energy. The UK, for example, shut its last coal-fired plant just last month. But transitioning away from fossil fuels isn't just about electricity. It's about rethinking transport, agriculture, construction, and even aviation. And these are the real challenges. The outlook is so dire that on average climate scientists have far fewer children than the general population as a response to the fear of what the world may look like for future generations. A world where the negative impacts are already beginning to unfold.
We must help people understand the danger they're in. We must help people understand, imagine these volumes of water running through their streets and into their homes. Just telling people that it's going to rain quite a lot is not good enough. People don't understand what to do. They don't have the information they need to keep themselves and their families safe.
This week, world leaders are convening in Baku, Azerbaijan for the COP29 conference. But unlike past summits, there is no parade of familiar faces. The heads of the world's biggest carbon-emitting countries, China, the United States and India, are noticeably absent. The real focus is the debate over climate finance, how rich nations will help the poorest countries transition away from fossil fuels and cope with the damages climate change is causing.
If at least 2/3 of the world's nations cannot afford to cut emissions quickly, then every nation pays a brutal price. If nations can't build resilience into supply chains, the entire global economy will be brought to its knees.
The science is clear, and the time to act is now. But will they? That question will define the future of the planet and every life on it.
So, from toxic smog in Pakistan to catastrophic flooding in Spain, can the world curb the worst effects of global warming in time? And are COP summits the best way to do that? Joining me now to debate that and more are from Baku, the founder of Climate Depot and former U.S. Republican Party political aide, Mark Morano. From Manchester, spokesperson for Just Stop Oil and former principal scientist at Shell, Dr. Graham Buss. And also from the Azerbaijani capital, global engagement director at the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty Initiative, Harjit Singh. Thanks all so much for being with me. Mark, I have to start with you and ask why you're actually there. Who doesn't really believe in the science being applied at COP29? So what are you and others like you trying to achieve there?
Chaos. Well, actually, this is my 21st out of 23rd UN summit I've been to, starting with the Earth Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa, 2022. Been to almost every COP except one or two in that 20-some years. And the reason I come as an observer with the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow and my group, we are climate skeptics. I worked in the United States Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. I come here to find out what the latest is and I report back home. I've been doing interviews, I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing writing, I'm doing videos from here. And our message has basically been this whole process of COP, Conference of Parties, which was started under a Republican president, George H.W. Bush, and we opposed it back in 1992, needs to come to an end. The idea that any UN commitment agreement from the Paris Accords leading to net zero is going to impact the weather is absurd, unscientific. The idea that we face the climate crisis is unscientific. And my message, specifically why I'm here, is I'm here to preach the news that Donald Trump is bailing the United States out of this process, and it's glorious. No more UN Paris Agreement, no net zero, and we are pulling the U.S. out, and we're hoping European and Western nations join us in this big exit.
Okay. Let me ask you, though, Mark, do you think the extreme weather we're seeing on the planet, I mean, do you think it's okay? Should we do anything to mitigate it, including the dire health effects that it's having on countless people now around the world?
Okay, extreme weather, even the United Nations, the IPCC reports admit extreme weather and hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, wildfires, droughts are either no trend or declining trend on 30, 50, 100-year time scales. There is no there when you're talking. You can always find a record broken somewhere. I liken it to a lottery. Your chance of winning the lottery is very low. The chance someone somewhere winning the lottery is very high.